Welcome to Godly Play. Watch where I go to get the story.
No, first you do the desert box.
We need this, and we do need the desert box.
Why are you doing the different levels? Why are you doing the different levels? Why are we doing the different levels?
Let's get ready to hear our story. This is the desert. It's important that we have a piece of the desert in our classroom because many important things happened to the people of God in the desert. The desert is a dangerous place. There's no food and no water in the desert. And people die without food and water. And nothing grows in the desert. So when the wind blows, the land changes shape. And it's easy to get lost. The desert is a dangerous place. People don't go into the desert unless they have to. It takes courage to go into the desert. The people of God were living in a place where the rain wasn't falling. And when there was no rain, the crops couldn't grow. And that meant there was no grain to grind, to bake bread. And the children were very hungry. The children were so hungry they cried in their sleep. So the mothers and fathers knew that they had to leave and find a new place to live. They knew they had to do it, even though that meant they had to go through the desert. It was very hard in the desert. But they kept going. They kept going all the way until they reached a land called Egypt.
Except has a sound or two.
In Egypt, a king is called a pharaoh. And when the people of God got to Egypt, they found food and water and work, but they were captured by the pharaoh, and they had to do everything the pharaoh said. They had to get up when the pharaoh told them to get up. They had to go to sleep when the pharaoh told them to go to sleep. They could only eat the food that the pharaoh said they could eat, and they could only do the things that the pharaoh said they could do. They were enslaved. One of the people would go to the pharaoh and say, "Pharaoh, set my people free." And the pharaoh told that person, whose name was Moses, no. Moses asked the pharaoh many times, "Let my people free." And every time the pharaoh said no. Many strange things started to happen in the land of Egypt. But still, every time Moses asked, the Pharaoh said no. And then something terrible happened.
What?
One night, all of the oldest sons in all of the Egyptian families died. Even the son of the Pharaoh. The sons of the people of God didn't die because they were able to put a special mark over their door, and the angel of death passed over. And this time, when Moses asked the Pharaoh, "Set my people free," Pharaoh said, "You can go." So the people hurried and they packed everything up. They packed up everything they could carry, and they made bread to go on the journey. They didn't have time to put leaven in the bread and let it rise up to get all white and big and fluffy like the bread that we have in the store. They had to leave so fast that their bread was flat. And they went as fast as they could because they were afraid that the Pharaoh would change his mind. And then, suddenly, the ground started to shake. They started to hear a noise like thunder. And it was the horses and the chariots from the Pharaoh's army. The Pharaoh's army was chasing them. The Pharaoh's army pushed the people of God right up to the water. The people of God didn't know what to do. But Moses came so close to God, and God came so close to Moses that Moses knew what God wanted him to do. God showed Moses a way to take the people through the water. And they started crossing through. This one is running as fast as they can. I think this one could be scared. And this one is confused about what's happening. And this one is hopeful. And finally, all of the people of God make it through the water. And they have left the land of Egypt. And they are free. They are so happy to be free that they cannot help but dance. And Miriam leads the dancing. I wonder what part of this story is the most important part. God opens this. I wonder when they're free. I wonder what part is your favorite part of the story. I wonder what part of this story you're in, or what part of this story seems to be especially about you.
Lights change color. Miranda, I'm afraid.
I wonder if there's any parts of this story we could leave out and still have all the parts we need. watch how I put the story away so that we all know how to take care of our stories when we're hearing Godly play.
And so now what is done the next time you're here?
Okay. Watch where I put it away. Because like Mateo said, the next time you're here, you can play with the story.
I tried to stop.